Hello, beautiful people. How are we all doing? It's Christmas! My voice normally sounds better than that, but you know, I've been talking a lot. It takes it out of me, so that's what it is. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Receipts Podcast. We are happy to have you here.
Indeed.
It's only right that we end this year with a banger. And yeah, I think this is going to be a banger.
Absolutely.
I think the special guest we have here wrote a banger, so it's only right to end this on a banger.
But she ain't no one-hit wonder, though.
She is not no one-hit wonder. She didn't just get here. But let me take it back to the top. It's your girl, Tolly T.
Just call me Audrey.
And we have a special guest in the building. We have writer Chante Joseph.
I can't believe I'm here.
You're here, baby.
I can't believe I'm
here. Hello, honey. We've known you for ages.
Yeah.
No, literally
For years and years.
Forever.
What's really nice about this moment is that everybody else gets to know you and gets to know your skills and your moment. If you don't know, let me give you more. Chante Joseph is a writer who has recently gone mega viral with her banger is having a boyfriend embarrassing now. I read it again this morning because obviously I knew you was coming here. Thoughts, how did we get here?
Honestly, so first of all, the title's a question.
Yeah.
A lot of people have read the title as if it's a statement. They're like, Vogue has decided it is now embarrassing to have a boyfriend, as opposed to posing a question.
Is it?
That we wanted to explore.
Question mark.
And yeah, the idea came to me. Originally, I pitched the article. It was like, no face, no case is having a boyfriend embarrassing. Like that was like the original title. They got rid of that first bit and they were like, let's just go in. And I was like, you know what, fair. Because I just started to notice a lot of people were just concealing their partners online in a really weird way. And I think before maybe it was like the hand on the dashboard or the glasses clinking or whatever. But then it kind of started to just get really strange. Like, you know, heads being edited out of...
I saw a wedding picture where this girl flat out just cut his head. It was hilarious.
Yeah.
Because I think people are doing it to be funny. When I say that extent, I'm doing that to be funny, right? Like, as in, like, and that is funny. Like, to cut off someone's head in a wedding picture is hilarious. Because what do you mean?
Yeah.
You could have just posted a picture of you in your wedding dress.
No, I need him to be there so I can just scratch out his head.
I'm going to scratch at your head and you're just not going to be a thing. And I think when I was reading the bit that made, and I was like, yeah, but people still want you to know they have a boyfriend.
This is the thing. This is the thing.
Like they're doing that, I'm just going to show the back of his head. I'm going to show his hand. I'm going to cut off his head. But you still want the social currency of knowing that you can keep a man.
There's someone there.
Exactly. So what's the point?
Right.
Yeah.
And this is the thing, right? Because I felt that was really strange because why are you doing this? And I was like, do you know what? I think it's deeper than, because a lot of people kept being like, oh, it's about privacy. You know, I want to protect his privacy.
It's not, because
you're
like,
it's not. It's not your privacy. And also, why is it that every single relative ever in your entire family tree is on your Instagram? Your friends, your cousins, your aunts, your uncles, their friends,
your
their
late
pets,
grandma, on
her
dying bed.
Right. Everyone is there, but for some reason, your partner requires this special sort of privacy that isn't afforded to anyone else. Like, I was like, I don't know if it's just that. And then I think when I started to have more conversations with people, because originally I put out a call out on my Instagram and I just said, you know, everyone just speak to me. And I still had like quite a few followers at that time, so I had so many people messaging me and I was just getting into it with them. And it kind of came down to this fact that a lot of people just felt inherently embarrassed at the idea of having a boyfriend. And it was partly because I know if I post this man and then next week he cheats on me or whatever, then I have to delete it and then I don't want people asking questions. But it was also just this whole idea of it not being part of the brand. And I don't want people to think that I'm a boyfriend girl. And I don't really want people to know that I'm in a relationship because being single has this allure to it online that I think a lot of people are drawn to. And so I was like, do you know what? I think this is something worth exploring. And then I also, ended up speaking to content creators specifically about what happened when they posted their partners online. And I spoke to Stephanie and she was like, I literally lost like 1,000 followers in a day as soon as I posted my fiance.
But it's interesting because I remembered her saying that and read it in the article as well. But I think it all depends on the kind of content you initially create. So if you're someone that creates the like boss babe, like single girls, we've got this, whatever. I think a lot of girls who look at you for that kind of like, okay, cool, it's okay to be single, blah, 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 blah. And then you get a partner and then you post them. Yeah. It's like, oh, girl, you were just telling us. Because I've heard many like plus size girls say that when they started losing weight, they lost a lot of followers. Yeah. Because the girls were like, no, this is not what we came here for. As in like, we don't want to see this. But also, many people, I remember this specifically, Visaya from Kai Collective, when she first posted her partner, sorry, she was like, there's no way you lot are making this the most liked picture on my Instagram.
Yeah.
Like it was, she was like, I have conquered.
Yeah.
I have opened bags. I have done this.
Yeah.
So it works in both ways. Sometimes it's the most liked and it will get you pictures, especially if you have a light-skinned girl who got a dark-skinned boyfriend.
That content is proper sales. But the thing is though, I feel
nothing
like
people love more.
That content, if I were to post a picture of me and Nick now, it would be my most liked picture.
Yeah.
It just will be. And I don't know if it's because it's like, oh, you don't do it that often anymore. Or whether it's genuinely because like people have this affinity to relationships still. Do you know what I mean?
Aspirational.
Like, it's still seen as aspirational. And just to go back, I remember there was an influencer that was getting flogged online, because she had posted her...
Was it her wedding video?
No, not even her wedding. So she posted like a family picture, but she blurred out the boyfriend and posted the baby. And then everyone like they actually started a hashtag on Twitter called protect the man, hide the child. No, show the child, protects the man, or something like that. It was like literally a hashtag. And like she was getting her ass handed to her. And then lo and behold, the next time she decided to post, you saw the baby's face. And it's like, that doesn't have to be the exchange. Like the exchange doesn't have to be that suddenly you now post your child. Do you know what I mean? Like, but what is it that made you, what was the embarrassment or the fear behind like, I can't post him, but like my child's fair game?
Yeah. But also, you know, in the article, I talk about this idea of like the evil eye as well.
That's
what a lot of women said. I don't want to
that.
post because of the evil eye. And I just think if your relationship is that fragile that a random person on Instagram, and it's always a woman, right? It's always a woman who's jealous of you,
100%.
is sending jealous energy towards your relationship, and it ends. That's like,
that
what?
means you shouldn't post anything good about
Exactly.
your life. You shouldn't post about your job. You shouldn't post about anything because evil eye is evil eye.
Exactly.
Like it doesn't just it's not just like
evil eye relationship.
It's for all.
I think that's so disingenuous though. I feel like when people say that evil eye, I think actually what they're really trying to say is you have the real fear is someone coming to you as a woman.
Yeah.
That's what the fear is, but you mask it under this thing of evil eye. I don't really believe in that. Yeah. Like, and I'm not trying to say that there aren't people out there that are bad minds or whatever, but I don't believe I'm a target for random haters. Like I just refuse to believe that. Like people are out here targeting me and like waiting for me to like post something good so they can. Like, I don't believe that. I think it's cap. I think it's just something that people hide behind because they're just embarrassed to post the man. They're scared about what could come because that happens so often. Like even when we had Michelle Elman on here and she was talking about it, like, you know, she went viral similarly because she found out, what was it, her story?
So she'd never posted
her man before.
Never posted her man for years. And then she posted him once they got engaged.
Because that feels like the safety net.
Security, we're secure now. And then once she posted him once they got engaged, she got a girl come up to her to be like, buddy.
She got several, innit?
That man has been messaging me or whatever. And that's the first time she ever posted her man. And I think for a lot of women, that is the fear of someone coming up to you and being like... But some people are also like, no, I'm going to post you. Just so if there is anybody to come up to you. In fact, from first date.
Exactly.
Like, let it happen now.
Let it happen now before I am like... I think it's like people still want the currency of being known to have a partner, which is why when girls go on date, they show the hand on the wheel, which is why they show the back. People still want to be like, oh, look at me. I've still got a person or whatever. I think the reaction to the article has been very, very interesting.
Yeah, it's been insane. And I was even talking to, you know, Zing, she's a writer, she used to be at Vice as well.
Yes,
I was talking to her about this yesterday because I was saying, had this article popped up maybe like 8 years ago, I don't think the reaction would have been as severe. But I think where we are now culturally, online, kind of all of these sub-communities that exist, the incels, like the manosphere, it has made all the online conversations about relationships so hostile. And so like the response has been crazy because you've had, you know, a lot of these like weird incel men who are just like outraged, furious, right? Why are you saying this? You know, that you get a lot of people who are just really aggressive and angry towards me, being like, you know, kill yourself, all this stuff, which is so strange. And then you have a section of people who are like, this, what you're saying is ungodly. You know, they're like, why are you ruining the sanctity of family? Like, why are you saying that? They don't care to read. They don't care to read. And then you kind of have a lot of men as well, and also some women who are just like, you know, you're bitter, you're lonely, you're jealous, like no one's gonna love you, you're gonna grow old alone, and I'm like that stuff doesn't hit. Do you know what I mean? Because I will still write an article like this, men will still try and chat to me. Do you think this makes any difference to my
hate
attractiveness?
That's the threat that they give to women. You'll die alone.
Yeah.
Okay. So
you're gonna die alone too. Everyone's gonna die alone.
And
this is a
literally.
suicide pact. We're all dying alone. So let's not do all of that.
Yeah,
do you know
yeah,
what I
yeah.
mean? But it's like this thing they wave in front of you to be like, oh, you know, no one's gonna love you. But you people are in relationships and you're miserable. And we know because you can't, you tell us every single day unprovoked. So like it just doesn't hit. And I think that was the embarrassment element of it as well, that online now we have so many women talking about their experiences with men. Like there's no sort of like kind of fantasy around like being partnered with a man anymore. There's no sort of, oh my God, this feels like magical, because it's like, oh, you come online and you tell us play by play. Even thinking about Who the Fuck Did I Marry? And that 80-part series where she's like, all this stuff happened to me, and it's all the people who followed her afterwards. It's just like, oh, this veneer of the perfect like heterosexual like romantic couple, it just doesn't give anymore. It's kind of losing its sort of like shine.
Yeah. How do you think your article, because what it's provoked as well is the relationship about decentering men.
Yeah.
How do you think that's all played a role in the idea of, that's why this conversation can be had now, because a lot of people are, because even, I mean, it's decentering men is all very confusing, like, because many people are like, but the very idea that you're trying to decenter them, you're centering them. So what now?
I think it's because people want to, I feel like being single feels really hard because our society just makes singleness very difficult. Like everything is kind of built for two. Even like there are so many laws that are, you know, that exist for married people, so many tax breaks. Like it's just easier to exist with someone else,
that's
right?
for money reasons.
Do you know what I mean? And then on a social level as well, you know, when people are upset about being single, when someone's like, oh my God, but you have friends. First of all, your friends are not a substitute for a romantic relationship, and they're not kind of there to pass the time until you find someone. But also when your friends are partnered, they start to build lives for themselves that follow that same format. So it's very difficult for you to then kind of like decenter romantic relationships and try to exist in that space when everyone else in your community is doing the same thing.
And also, I think to the point of that, like your friends are not a waiting room. Many women, once they become partnered, act like that you were just a waiting room.
Right.
Yeah. They're like, suddenly there's no time for you anymore because they're now partnered now. They've achieved the dream.
Yeah.
Like, especially if girls, like, let's say you were all single together, blah, 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 blah. Someone meets a partner, they've achieved it now. Like, so suddenly they don't understand you anymore. Like, you don't get it anymore. You don't get it, you know, you don't get it.
And you've been in a relationship for 6 minutes. So what the hell are you trying to tell me anything for?
You just got there.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah. But then that makes singleness a very difficult place to be. And a lot of people, if you're upset about being single, people just like, oh, you need to love yourself more. You need to It's bigger than that. It's built into the fabric of our society. The difficulties in being single, right? So as soon as you are in that space and it's hard, I think all of the things that people have told us to do to not be bothered about being single, it's not hitting anymore. So we need new kind of radical solutions or ideas or just ways for us to kind of talk ourselves down from that ledge. And I think this article really hit because it was like, okay, do you know what? For the first time, we're not talking about single women in that sort of weird Bridget Jones way that we've kind of, it hasn't moved on since that point. Yeah. But also we're starting to acknowledge the ways that like actually heterosexual relationships are not the best thing in the world. It's not the be all end all. And actually it's steeped in a lot of problems. And one of the biggest comments or one of the like the most hooked things in the article was this idea that being in a relationship is Republican now. And people talking about like this idea of, oh, do you know what? Like the right wing, these kind of traditional conservative ideas of like family and partnership or whatever, they've co-opted the heterosexual relationship and they've made it a core part of their message. And so now if you're in that sort of relationship, it feels like you're just contributing to this like weird like right-wing political space. And I just think as well, like one of the big things that came up is that a lot of women will be like, you know, men are trash, I hate men, and fair enough. But then you still partner with them. And then you say, men are trash, but not my man. And so I really wanted to get to this idea of how can all men be trash? You hate all men, but for some reason you manage to find the one man that is the exception to the rule. And it's like you always want to be the different one because you want to believe that you have certain attributes or you made certain choices.
You loved yourself enough.
Exactly.
You did therapy. That's why you. And it's this thing of the like, I got a man because I worked to myself and it's what I deserve. Like, it's not because you're better. It's not because you read more or you did more or you prayed harder or whatever. It just happened.
This episode is sponsored by Boots, the beauty destination this Christmas.
Okay, so I don't mean to brag. I really don't, but I'm going to brag. I have been on top of my Christmas shopping this year and Boots has been my go-to place.
I absolutely agree. And you know what? Yeah, you can always trust Boots to have the best new exclusive trending beauty gifts. I mean, who doesn't love perfume or skincare?
Okay, so I am all over skincare and beauty products. I love it for me. I love it for my friends. And sometimes, with all the love in the world, I kind of look at them and think, okay, what do I think you need? And then I get them that as a gift. I think it's always really nice to try something that you've actually never used before. Because often you get, like, you buy the same beauty products all the time. So if I'm going to gift you, I'm going to give you something new and exciting, something you haven't tried yet.
Yeah, I love that for us.
And something that's like I've tried, but I don't think everybody else has, is I'm a cleansing balm babe. It's honestly the first thing I do when I start like taking off my makeup. And I have a new favourite, and I think it's only right that I gift the people I love it. And it's the LMS Pro Collagen Black Cherry Cleansing Balm. I love it. It's great. Would recommend. So it's a gift.
And what I want to gift to my younger cousin, because she's just about to start her skincare journey, is the Happy 4-step routine. So I think it's perfect for younger girls that are just about to enter the world of skincare. And I think she'd love it. And it's available on boots.com from the 14th of November.
Do you know what I like about it? I've seen it. It's the bright colours. I am a sucker for things that are bright colours, especially when I'm gifting things as well. And also, what I absolutely love doing is that, like, giving little gifts in addition to the big gifts. So I'll like throw in like the Boots Glossy Balm Trio. Because it's like got 3 different colours. Who doesn't love lip gloss? I put lip gloss in my car, in my handbag, and in every room in my house somewhere. And I think everyone else should do that too.
Yeah, absolutely. And do you know what? You know how we always talk about like our everything shower? I think the Estridge Complete Shave Set is perfect. I just think, like, who doesn't want to luxuriate while shaving?
Not luxuriate.
Luxuriate? Who doesn't want to luxuriate whilst they're having their everything shower? I think it's the perfect gift. And guys, don't forget to collect points on your Boots Advantage card.
Gift happily ever after with Boots. Shop in store, online or on the app.
Products in selected stores, subject to availability.
3 for 2 on gifts marked with the parcel symbol.
Every third product is free.
And
I think it's triggering because a lot of people don't want to admit that actually behind closed doors they're co-signing or putting up with a lot of things that maybe online they don't project or doesn't necessarily go with their values. But in order to be partnered, you have to just accept that maybe he's a bit homophobic or maybe he's got a bit of misogyny or blah, blah, blah. But he's not as bad as someone that's an incel. Do you know what I mean? So I feel like having to reconcile with that, it would be very triggering if you're in a relationship because deep down you know a lot of men are not progressive. Like, they're not, which is why, like, even when we have these conversations about 50-50 and who pays and all the rest of it, I find it so incredibly disingenuous. Like, when people, like, make out as though they're going to get, like, a guy from the 1%. I feel like you actually have to admit to yourself, like, you might end up with a guy that is not woke, that is not progressive, that still has some misogyny to him, that still has a lot of unlearning to do. But I feel like we can move forward once we start being honest, and they're not being honest about that.
And this is and that's what I wanted to get at. Like, a lot of women, were like, this article is about dividing women, you're pitting women against each other, you're just as bad as the men. And I'm like, that is not the point at all. And like, Vogue let me write a follow-up where I basically talk about the fact that this isn't necessarily about you, like, partner women being against single women. It's about saying, stop saying that, oh, because I have a man and he's the one exception, like my dog in this fight is over. It's about saying, no, if you're a woman in a relationship with a man or you want to be with a man or whatever, let's think about how we hold men to higher standards. Let's think about the ways that misogyny infiltrates our relationships, the things that we accept, like, and how we just continue to make things worse. You know what I mean? It was less about the women themselves and more about, oh, men's behavior is so terrible now. They're just tarnishing the brand, to put it lightly. They're tarnishing the brand. So like, where do we go from here? But no one was trying to hear that. It was just, oh, you hate me because I'm in love. You hate people trying to pursue love.
Because people still see men as the prize. Like, I keep saying that. They keep saying, like, as in, there is social currency to being in a relationship outside of all the tax benefits and blah, blah, blah. But there is also a social currency. You're seen as, I put these 2 examples. Let's say you have an influencer, he was a single influencer, and you have one who's married and seemingly has a life together. She'll be able to sell more things. Because people are more like, oh, she's done it. She's done what you're meant to do.
Chosen.
So I think that's what it is. A lot of people still see that as the prize. And I'm not even saying that as someone, I want a family. I'm not someone that's like, no, I don't think, like, no, I think those things are good, but it's not the prize. And I think a lot of partnered women have made single women feel shit. Like, sometimes it's them. Like, the first insult would be like, oh, she doesn't have to keep a man, she can't, like, as if to say, like,
what am I supposed to do that?
And I think that this article has actually been, and I feel like sometimes what happens is people center themselves when they're not centered. Do you know what I mean? So this conversation isn't really about, like, people that are partnered, married, or in relationships. Actually, it's supposed to be something that empowers women that are single, women that are choosing to be single, not in relationships yet, to let you know you're actually doing okay, and there are other facets of your life that are fulfilling, that can be fulfilling, and you don't necessarily need this thing to affirm you. But what happens is people that are partnered or what have you, they feel ostracized from a conversation that's not really, do you know what I mean? So no one's shitting on you. It's just not about you. So because people feel insecure about it, instead of being like, oh, actually, how can I be an ally to this situation? Like, how can I be an ally to my single friends or the women in my life that are not in relationships? They're trying to tear it down because it's not centering you.
Yeah.
I don't even think single women need allies. Like, I said, like, let these people live. Let people live. And what I got about the article was, it was a very online thing, because just like you, I hate couple content. I hate when I'm following a bad bitch who's giving me looks, who's doing this, and the next thing I see, watch my boyfriend dress me. If you don't fuck off.
Oh my God.
Let me see what my boyfriend thinks about my outfit. And I'm not saying, hey, include him himself, but it becomes because also it sells, right? That kind of content does well. And then that becomes it. And I'm just like, that's not what I came here for.
Yeah.
And I remember this, and I'll say this because this is, I remember doing an interview with Tony Tone. It was when I was filming the Bumble My Love Is podcast.
Oh, nice.
And this interview's on the thingy, and it's on the internet. And I was talking to her about like posting her man, who's now her husband. And I was like, we're talking about. She was like, oh, she really sees it. And I remember saying to her, and I was just like, my big thing is, I will be damned if a man now becomes my band. I will be damned. After all the years I've been working, suddenly I'm now posting this guy. My content is now gone through the roof.
Yeah.
Is everybody all right?
Yeah.
As in, after all the years that I've been showing you lip gloss, eyeliner, and all of that, it's not because this
when he's
man's
putting it on
here
me all of a sudden.
And like she had a very she's like, I love him, I trust him, I don't have that fear of embarrassment that someone's going to tell me about this. And also that's absolutely fine. But I do think it is a thing of you see a lot of women change everything, especially for their online persona to now fit into couples content now.
Which is boring. And I don't enjoy or engage in couple content at all. Because also obviously it feels so extremely staged, but also it's purposeful. Like, you know, that sort of reaction this is going to get. You know how you're kind of like being able to profit and monetize of this, and how like, do you know what I mean? It all just feels really icky to me. And I just kind of think, I enjoy your life, enjoy your private life. I don't want to be in it. You know, I don't want to be in it at all. And then when things go sour, or you stop posting them, and then people ask you questions, and then you're angry, and it's this, you've invited everyone to be a part of your life in this way. And so then you get upset when people start kind of asking questions, and it's just never sat right with me. And I don't ever see myself doing anything like that. But I mean, obviously you do it. But I just think the way we talk about relationships and even do relationships, particularly online, it feels so different. And I think it's because there are kind of more single women making a lot of like content, and it just kind of feels like, oh, this doesn't feel like this has to be the baseline for the most engaging type of content online. There's just so much more out there.
Also, so much content online is now women talking about men. It's either not having it, it's decentering it, or do having it, or I'm just a girl, or like, oh, when he comes, the one I hate the most is that, when my boyfriend's around, my head just switches off. You gotta switch it on.
I don't like that.
It makes me when you don't know anything because you're just a girl when your husband's here.
That's so trad wife adjacent.
Exactly.
I honestly think it's so trad wife adjacent.
Trad wife content.
Me
how
calling
to get
my
a man
husband 'cause
content.
I don't know anything.
Like femininity coach content. All of that stuff to me all falls under the same umbrella. And like what you were saying, it's not lost on me that it's very much closely, like it feels very MAGA, it feels very conservative.
That's what it is.
Like, and I don't buy into that at all. Like, I think it's really quite dangerous territory as well for women. I feel like it's just so regressive. Like, when I see that and I just hear younger girls more and more speaking in that way and talking about how like they need to have a provider, and you're like 20. Like,
that's the thing.
Why do you need to have a provider at 20?
And I don't know anything about the bills. And also, we've had older women who've done that and now be like, yo, my husband's
right.
It happens all the time. Because I was ignorant to anything that was happening.
And I can't work now, and he's divorced me, and he's with the new young thing, and I'm sitting here thinking, how do I turn on the washing machine? Like, what?
And also, God forbid, even if you have the most loyal husband, he doesn't cheat on you, he doesn't leave you, God forbid, what if he dies? That's not to be ridiculous. You don't know anything about anything.
But I just find it, I don't think it's genuine though. I feel like,
it's just content.
Yeah, I think it's just content. I don't believe that people are really like in these kind of relationships. I just find it hard to believe how you can function in that kind of relationship just in the world that we live in today. It's 2025. Like,
they're selling a dream, basically.
Yeah, I just think that people. So do you remember there was that trend where people were like asking their husbands how much the mortgage is? So there was this, so there was this trend, and people were just like filming their husbands, like, and they were like, they were asking their husbands.
No, they were saying,
I'm going to pay.
I don't have
money for the mortgage this month.
Yeah,
and then the husband would just be like, you never pay the mortgage. But I find it like, it's so curated in the sense that, okay, you don't pay the mortgage, but does that mean you're not contributing anything to the household? So that means that by virtue of like how like cut up that is and how specific that question is, you're still trying to create this narrative that you pay nothing, but no, you're very specifically asking about the mortgage. Do you know what I mean? So I feel like it just riles other people up to feel like, oh my God, if I'm contributing to the mortgage, does that make me less than? Like, if I'm contributing to the household, does that make me less than? And it's just like, you kind of have to take these things with a pinch of salt.
It's all very internet talk. Like, surely no one in real life is actually living there. But I think that's the problem though, because so many people are taking their whole idea of relationships from the internet. So I think that's what this article is, that like, hey, let's actually be for real. Like the problem is not you having a boyfriend or whatever, it's the content you are making around this thing to make it look like, oh, this is how it should be, and if you don't have it like this, you're doing it wrong. Because my thing is, my issue is never having a boyfriend embarrassing. No, I don't absolutely think it's not. I think what is embarrassing is women unable to see their worth outside of male validation. That's what's embarrassing. And a lot of women, conscious or not, do think like that. And like, I mean, and I'm not talking about women like, oh, no, I'm talking about very, very smart women who have done so much and achieved so much, and society has made them feel like they are not worthy because they do not have this partner. And no matter how strong you are, at one point, you think about it, it was like, wait, am I doing something wrong? Why do I not have this thing? Is it because, and I think that's what's embarrassing, that we're making women feel like they don't have worth because they're not partnered.
But you have to think about the deep conditioning that we've had since
of course, of course.
Do you know what I mean? And it's just like, even if it goes against your sense to be like, I know this isn't true, all the constant messages are constantly promoting, like exactly what you were saying, Chante, like promoting this ideal family setup of what it's supposed to look like. We have all these markers for our age of what we're supposed to have done by this age. You've got this constant pressure of like, oh, if you want to have kids, you need to have done it by a certain age and blah, blah, blah. And it's not lost on me, and it's intentional that stuff is targeted and geared towards women.
Of course.
Because men do not have the same kind of pressures, but then now they've got like the incels and the manosphere and the red pill and all of this stuff. Like, they're going to be very angry about this message because they've been conditioned to believe that they just deserve a woman by virtue of just being men. Do you know what I mean? So I can imagine the pushback from that community. They're not gonna.
That community is so weird. There's an Instagram post on our page, on the receipts page at the moment, that the man sent the dilemma about believing his wife he's not the love of his wife's life.
Oh, they're angry.
Yeah.
So
so we've got a dilemma where this guy's like, he overheard his wife saying that like that her husband wasn't her big love, right? But he was just a sensible person to marry, whatever. Some of the comments, the men are like, leave her now, she's cheating on you. You're pathetic to test on pathetic to test on your kids, those kids are not yours. And I'm just like, they are so...
And if they're not doing that, they're like, because on the TikTok I saw some guy, he was like, this is just life, man. I was just like, shut the fuck up.
Like, you can't trust these bitches.
Basically, they're so pressed.
So angry at it. And I'm like, why has this bothered you
they're
so
proper
much?
upset.
They're human.
Because they know they be doing it, that's why.
But it's scary
they don't
as
like a mirror being held up to them.
Yeah, but also it's like this idea of like, of course, don't get me wrong, I think, yes, women can still be very obsessed with romantic relationships, but also I think we have learned to kind of like quell that desire so it doesn't derail our lives. So the ways that we maybe would have compromised to be with someone, we're not really doing that anymore. I would rather be single and alone and sad than be with someone for the sake of being with someone.
It's all sadness at the end of the day, isn't it?
No, but I think the sadness of being someone that is bad is worse than sadness.
100%.
The sadness of being with someone that is awful.
It's how you feel trapped, because you feel like I'm doing the right thing and I'm in the right place, but I hate it and I can't leave because of those same social pressures that make being single difficult.
Because those feelings might be fleeting of like, oh, I wish I had someone here, but it feels more fleeting, like that constant of that person treating you like shit every single day.
Every single day.
Yeah, no, I don't know about it.
Funny enough, a lot of women will pick that rather than being single. Like, funny enough,
we're still not 100% there yet.
many women will still pick that misery rather than being like, oh, yeah, I ain't got nobody.
I feel like things are changing though.
Yeah,
I'm quite hopeful. And I think what will happen is, what I hope will happen, maybe this is not in my lifetime, but like as more and more women opt for singlehood instead and just kind of feel like, well, I'm not going to date these men, I think it's going to force men to become better people.
Yeah.
And that was the whole point of my article, right? It was like, the way that men behave it's terrible. And so now let's say that dating them is embarrassing. It's not in vogue. It's not cool. And so more women are opting out of it. You guys have no choice but to actually elevate yourselves in a way that women have had to do. And so everyone's always like, are you like a hetero pessimist, hetero fatalist? And I don't think I am, because I genuinely do believe that things can change. But I think it takes like the conversations that we're having in order for things to feel like they can move forward. Because one upsetting thing that happened to me, and maybe because I'm 30 next year, so I've had a lot of like people in their early 20s, like some even like 19-year-olds, 18-year-olds being like, I've never had a boyfriend before, and I found this article so affirming because I always felt really weird. And I was like, but you're like 18, like is that do you know what I mean?
I say this, a lot of girls, a lot of younger girls, in fact, a lot of women take someone else's hurt as theirs. You've never been cheated on. No one's actually ever done anything to you, but you've heard other stories and act like it belongs to you. Like, as in, that's not your hurt. That's never happened to you.
Yeah.
No boyfriend has left you pregnant, and all of these things that you're mad about. It's actually never happened to you. So I think it is quite sad that a 19-year-old is saying that. And again, read the article. You're like you said, you're asking for men to be better behaved. My thing has always been, men are so used to having to be needed, but now women are like, no, I want you. I don't actually need you. Like, I don't need you to be able to be a provider. I don't need you to do this. No, what I'm asking for you is to be likable enough that I want you.
And also, because back in the day relationships, they love to glamorize those relationships, but they need to remember it was a very much a different time. It's only till the 70s that women could have bank accounts and shit. So women were very much reliant on relationships, and I think they romanticize it in the sense that they make it seem like their grandmas and stuff were there by choice. If your granny had a choice, hun, she would have run for the hills, but there was literally no option for her. She couldn't have a bank account. There was so many things that were not available to her for the sheer fact that she's a woman. So I think that because they say that often as well, these incel guys, they'll be like, oh, women are not like her grandmas, man. And I'm just like, no, your grandma fucking hated your granddad.
Also,
and she endured.
Yeah, exactly. Go date an older lady.
But then
but they're the same ones that are telling you you're past it at 30.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So if the older women are so much better, but you're shaming people once you're telling them they lose value at 25, like it's just ridiculous.
There was
they sound
that rapper
ridiculous.
Recently that was going on about why would he date anyone over 30 that they used and they
Trick Daddy, that washed up
like,
old junkie.
My God.
Like the way
it's
he was like,
if you see the state of this man,
women over 30.
But the thing is, these girls don't want you either.
They don't.
Do you know what I mean? When I see these men in their 30s talking about, I don't want to be they don't want you.
Exactly.
And I feel like now more than ever, I think Gen Z are particularly strict on age gap relationships. They are not playing about with that. No one wants your old ass. I'm so sorry. They don't even want you.
Or if they do, they're here for the money. You know that.
But
right,
don't you remember
right.
there was some girl did a story time and she was like, I'm so sick and tired of these old men moving to me. She was like 19 and the guys were like 25, and she was like, literally, she was like, I'm just a baby girl. Like, I don't want you moving to me. Like, you're 25. Like, you're so old. Like, what am I gonna think? And the men, but there were men in her comments that were literally like in their 30s, like, no, but you don't know what I've got to offer. Blah, blah, blah. And they were so upset in the comments, and I was like, you guys are snitching on yourselves. You are snitching on yourself. This girl is 19. She is 19. If she doesn't want to date you because you're 30 or you're 32, which by the way, it's not even old. That's still very young. But in comparison to a 19-year-old, and because often they're so used to that trope of like the older guy and the younger girl, like, and they just think that they're entitled to that or they've normalized that. Yeah. Actually, like you said, the girlies are pushing back on it now. Yeah. Because also they're coming up in a time where they've got their age mates that are doing bits, so they can not target, but they can kind of aim for those guys. They've got rappers that are getting money. They've got, guys that are content creators that are their age mates. So they don't have to settle for your dusty asses. Like back in the day, it was like, if you wanted someone that was rich, he was probably going to be older. But now they don't have that issue, so they get so upset when the young girlies don't want them, and I love it. Keep flogging them girls. I love it.
And Gen Z is mad ageist as well.
Yeah,
Gen Z are mad.
Yeah, they are. If you're anything over 30, you're like,
they think you are. Do you know what I mean? Like even your mid to late 20s, they're like, whoa, grandma. Do you know what I mean?
But then when I think about it, I was kind of the same. It's not until you get there that you're like...
I think it's only more apparent now because we interact with each other.
Yeah, exactly.
I just didn't interact with anybody.
I was never around anyone that was 30.
So there was nothing that was... It's more obvious now because like we are in this way where we're seeing the same thing. We're listening to the same music. We're watching the same thing. We're on the same Instagrams. Our style's the same. So it's a really weird
very much
to differentiate. Whereas when I was younger... People in their 30s were in different worlds to me. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, a lot of the women had got married and a lot of it, like, they didn't hang where I hung. Yeah. We weren't in the same clubs. So it was very, very different. But now there has just been a mix-up of, like, we're all in the same. I don't know if we refuse to grow or they're growing too quickly. I don't know what it is.
I think they're growing too quickly.
But we're all mixed up. There is no, like, differentiation. Is there anything in the article that you wanted to include that you didn't, like, obviously word count?
Oh, that's a good question, I think there was definitely some things around how... I remember one of the quotes that I got back was from a girl who was saying, you know, me and my best friend, we always used to hang out all the time and we used to be like, men are trash, da, 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 and it was our thing. And then I got into a relationship and all of a sudden she stopped being like supportive of me and supportive of our friendship. And this whole idea, and she felt like, oh, I got into a relationship and I stopped saying these things, but my friend kept saying it. And so then it made me feel like she didn't support me. And now I can't talk about my boyfriend around her. And it was kind of this whole idea of how even in our interpersonal relationships, like if your friend gets into a relationship, what does that mean for the state of your friendship and how it can derail your friendship? That was a big thing I wanted to talk about a little bit more, but I couldn't. I also had way more direct quotes, but it was just so over. Like Vogue is like 850 word like viewpoint piece, like that's our standard. So I think they ended up publishing like 1,000 words, but even then that was like at a stretch.
So what are your views on the idea that relationships are actually affecting like friendship groups and things like that as well?
I think it's quite sad. And I think like we were saying before, it's just when our world makes us feel like, oh, to have a relationship, we basically believe that people in relationships are morally superior. And it's this whole idea they are living the aspirational life and you are not. And so even within your friendship now, there's this idea of like, I'm better than you, I'm more elevated than you, I'm the responsible one. And there was a lot of stuff I wanted to talk about around just how we talk about and to single people. Like the way people can be so intrusive about particularly your love life, right? And your life in general. Like,
how's your sex life? What if I asked you?
You
and your husband are typing. What if I asked you that?
It's so weird, but it's like because you're kind of infantilized, they just believe that they can talk down on you in this way, or you know, obsessing over your finances, or why are you buying all this stuff? And like, I just felt like we don't ever have that same level of intrusive conversation with people in relationships because we believe our whole life lives in pursuit of a relationship, and then nothing happens afterwards. But actually, no. Like, if we start to talk about people in relationships in that same way, they don't like it.
I've got hard and fast rule now. Like, let's say someone wants to catch up with me, and I say, how's it going in love life? Do you know, I just don't answer them.
Yeah.
Good or bad? Like, I would be like, yeah, I'm good. Because it's like, you haven't asked how my work is doing, how my mental health is doing. Am I okay? Have I reached my goals this year? Like, what's going on with me? It's just also what's going on with like, I'm not a gossip page. I'm not on a magazine page for you to figure out. And it's that whole time, I'm living vicariously through you. No, you're fucking. You better live your life and live mine. Let everybody live the life that they came to live. And it's insulting. Like, that is all. It's the same way loads of women on the internet complain about like, so if someone doesn't get married, doesn't have a baby shower, when do you show up for them?
Right. I was thinking about this actually.
Yeah. Like, if they're never going to have a big wedding, when are you going to celebrate them?
Yeah.
If their celebration doesn't include being partnered.
Right.
Then what happens to that person? What happens to that person's goals?
Yeah. And even outside of like, you know, you have your birthday, but it's kind of like, oh, that's still something that you have to organize and you sort out. Like, do you know what I mean? I just kind of think, even in all of this with this whole article, it's like, gosh, this is such a big moment for me, but I also don't, like, is this something I can celebrate? Yeah, even though this has been huge. I think this whole moment has definitely like changed my life for sure. But I'm like, I still don't feel like I'm being celebrated the same way that if I was like, I'm engaged, do you know what I mean? I just think it would be such a big thing, but I just don't, these things don't, even though they're big to me, I just think they're still not valued as much. It's hard.
The girlies on my timeline were loving it. Like, I didn't see anything like negative based off the article. Everything I saw was like literally women feeling so empowered. And I would read the comments and everyone was the same. And like, there'd be all these women that are like 45, single and happy, wouldn't change it, wouldn't go back. Like, no part of me wants to have children. No part of me wants to get married. Like, and it was a lot of that. And like, people were like stitching it and just being like, oh my God, I feel so seen. Like, and just really like relating to it and just like affirming it. So that's personally what I saw. But just quickly to go back to the friendship thing, about how like it can shift when you get into a relationship. I definitely think language is important. I definitely think like how you speak to people is important, and trying not to speak to people from like a pedestalized place or like talking down on people. Just be normal, like just talk casually. But I do think that like I've always had a thing for like giving my friends grace when they get in a relationship. I don't know. I don't know if that's because I'm like pedestalizing relationships. I don't know, maybe like that's the psychology behind it. But I've always just thought, nah, she's just met someone new. It's normal. Like, you kind of do, like, are we supposed to like allow that, or are we supposed to be like, no, everything must be the same even when you've just met someone, and like it's normal, like you kind of just like ghost a little bit, like you're with them all the time, and your friendships might fall to the wayside a little bit. Should we shift that, and should we just be like, no, try and maintain the friendship exactly as it was? And like, no, you make the adjustments to your relationship, or should you still extend that kind of grace? I don't know. I'm just asking. I'm just throwing it out there.
I feel like my like best friend, who I kind of speak to every single day, multiple times a day. She's like recently got into something really serious, but our friendship hasn't changed. And I like really appreciate that, because I just think if I lost her to a relationship, that would be really, really hard for me. And I think she makes such an effort to make sure I still feel included in her life. And, like nothing's really changed for us. Of course, she's like hanging out with her partner more and she's there more, but it doesn't feel like this sort of, I don't feel like I've been kind of demoted. Whereas I think a lot of friendships, but I think that sometimes depends on how close you are. Because I think if you're really close to someone, it's difficult for them to start to demote you in their lives. But people I'm not too close with, when they get into a relationship and I kind of don't hear from them, it doesn't feel so personal. But I think depending on the closeness of the friendship, there are ways for it to be the same. But ultimately, I don't ever imagine that nothing will change ever, because at the end of the day, when you get into a relationship, a lot of the way we think about our futures and structuring our lives is, I'm going to meet someone, we're going to start a family, and this is going to be the unit.
And then that's us.
I'm not really, not in a rude way, but I am not in the vision of my friends' lives in the future in terms of how they like think about their family units. Like, I'm not in that picture, because they think about meeting someone and being with that person, and that's it. And so in some ways, I think there will be an inevitable sort of like falling to the wayside, but I don't know if it has to be like so like drastic and so so like dramatic. Do you know what I mean?
And also, men still have their friends.
Right.
Yeah,
Like,
they don't be changing shit.
Like a friend would be married and suddenly she can't have nights out. Men are still going out with their boys. They're still in the group chat. They still maintain it.
Yeah.
They're also in this relationship with you. So how comes it's you that can't maintain
how
it?
comes it's you that's making the sacrifice?
Yeah. And again, like I said, let's all be honest. In this day and age, how many friendships are that like we see each other every single day? It's not.
Life just gets in the way, just in general.
It's not,
Yeah.
right? So it's just, I think it's a case of suddenly you just stop talking to that person. Where it's like, oh, that's weird, because you can still talk. Like,
Yeah. No, definitely.
It's interesting though, because obviously in the piece I kind of talk about this idea of like women being like judgmental when they meet someone and they find out they're in a relationship. They think they're less cool. And that was like a big sticking point to the article. People thinking that if a woman's in a relationship, like I maybe don't view her in the same way. And I did think that was really interesting, because I do feel like the stereotypes you have of partnered women falls into that like traditional conservative idea. And so I think you automatically think someone is less cool, even if they haven't given you a reason to think that. And I feel like if I meet someone and I get along with them really well and they're in a relationship, I do sometimes feel like, will I be able to kind of build a friendship with this person? Whereas if I meet someone who's like single and I get along with them really, really well, I feel like a friendship is quite, like I can have a friendship with this person. I can message them, I can reach out. I don't feel particularly guilty. But I think sometimes with women who are partnered, it feels like your priority is your sort of relationship. And I feel like I will always be struggling to try and like build a relationship with you whilst you're already committed to something. Because I think for a lot of women, their relationships become their whole lives. So it becomes difficult to think about the ways you can exist in that space. But also maybe that's just like kind of my own bias as well.
yeah, I think that might be your own bias thing based on how maybe other people in relationships have been.
Yeah.
So it might not be how that person is, but you've seen someone else do that. And then that means that person centered their relationship around this person. But I think even in that, there always comes a point where the person's now like, I feel like I've lost myself.
Yeah.
Especially like when they get married and have children, it's just and then they start seeking out friends again.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's like, because you know that this person was important to you. Because otherwise, if you lost yourself, why was that the first thing you seek out? Your friendships again, like, because you know that person. I just don't understand. I've said it here before. I think the issue here is because everybody is more centered around partners and community.
Yeah.
So everyone's like, once I meet my person,
we're going to go off and do
that's my community now. They're not concerned about everybody else and whatever. And I say that actually, I say it more, it's something I find more in the Western world. Because I know many people who are partnered in thinking, but their friendships are still, we're still gang, everyone is still in this together. Your friend's man is your friend, everybody's friends with everybody. So it's just a weird, I don't know, I think because a lot of life now socially, it seems like everything is an achievement. So if you've done it right, you've graduated, you posted that, you got a boyfriend, you posted that, you got engaged, you posted that, you had your marriage, posted that. Everyone's lives is now being lived. There's not like a life as it is in entirety, but in short experiences.
Yeah.
So if anywhere you've missed out on this tick point, somehow your life is not like you haven't got a worthy full life. And I do think that is because of socials. I do think that's because we are seeing it more.
Yeah, 100%.
That, do you know what I mean? Obviously, I'm not saying that people didn't have these goals. Of course, people have always had these goals, but you're experiencing everyone's lives. lives as in like little experiences rather than their life in its entirety. So you just assume that if you're not doing that, yours is wrong because that's not what it looks like. And it could be depending on what you're focusing. There's some women who are really care about careers, and every time they see someone achieve something in their career, they do feel lesser than. They do feel like, why have I not done this as well? It completely depends on what it is that you care about. And also many women who are high strong, high careers, they still have this desire for this thing, and it doesn't make you any less than to have the desire. The things we're just asking men to not be embarrassing, so people can feel proud.
Exactly. I don't hate love. People are like, you hate love. I'm like, I love love. In fact, I love love so much that I want everyone to have an amazing experience of love, and we only do that if we start to be like, actually, men are behaving terribly. Let's hold them account. Not, my man is great. You know when people in relationships be like, I could never be in the streets. I could never be I don't know how you lot are doing that. It's crazy out here. It's like, that's the problem. Like, I just think you guys are so, I've got my thing now. The rest of you guys. It's like, no, like, I think there should still be this idea of like.
It's the only thing we do it for.
I
could never be jobless.
You wouldn't dare say. You wouldn't dare say that to someone.
We don't do
if someone was having a hard time getting a job, you would never say that to them.
If your friend was working, you'd be like, "Whoa, I'd never be jobless." How you're doing it? We don't do it. But I could never be unhealthy. I could never have a disease. We don't do that.
No, it's so true.
Anything else?
But I think it's because it makes people feel better about themselves. So we've normalized how we talk down to people that are not in situations that that mirror ours. And I think it's just so crazy. Like, I try to be very like conscious of it or whatever, but I also just think that if you've bonded over misandry in your friendship, I can see why you'd be embarrassed to say you've got a man. Because what do you mean 1 minute we're both like out here hating men, calling them trash, and we're both misandrous, and now you're with one, like, ew. Like, I can see why that. I can see why that would be hella embarrassing.
Because she struggled to understand why the dynamic of their friendship changed. Because she was like, when I was saying that, I never meant like my boyfriend, but it's like, you didn't even know your boyfriend. That was your friend first. And now this person's come in and like, they've obviously taken up more of your time, and it's like changed your dynamic. But it's like, I think it's sometimes, it's so weird because someone will get into a relationship and they'll forget all the years that they were single. And there's this like, you just don't remember what it's like to be in that place. We were in the trenches together and now you suddenly forgot. So it's just, I don't know, it's difficult, but I'm enjoying having these conversations because I think they're important. I think a lot of people were kind of not using my article to like sub their friends, but basically doing that. Some girl commented being like, all the most aggressive pick me girls liking this post from school. I was thinking, why don't you do
just
that?
Go at them, girl.
Straight to them. But it's like a conversation that they just didn't think that they could have without, being called names or being made to feel uncomfortable. And I was like, I'm willing to put myself in that position so you could have that conversation, because I think it's definitely been like revolutionary for single women for sure. Like, just how much they've taken this and they've like run with it, which I love. But I think it's just, we just needed to have this conversation. Like, it needed to be had.
I find it so mad, the people that come, because like the people that come and share like stories about their husbands and like the embarrassing things that they do. I honestly think when they're doing it, when there's just like, story time on how my husband like left me for dead, it's just like, that's that's not funny. Like,
it's still
they're
still in the kitchen.
There was this woman that did a whole story time on how she asked her boyfriend to pack her lunch. Did you see that? She asked her husband to pack her lunch for work, and he packed her dog food. And she did a whole story time, and everyone was like, "Girl, this is abuse. Like, this is not funny."
That's what's embarrassing.
Yeah, like
why are you telling us? Do you know what's embarrassing? Having a badly behaved boyfriend.
And if you're making it up for views, and like you're not also like weird. That's also very weird because it just like skews the conversation. Do you know what I mean? But I just, for the life of me, do not understand why people come online and share their stories.
It would be women who are still with their husbands.
Right. And then they get angry at us for being like,
why did you tell us this?
Exactly. Like, we didn't, this should have remained in
Although I remember it was a while ago, this woman was talking about she had gone food shopping and she was gone 10 minutes. Her husband kept saying, like, he was looking after kids, kept saying, where are you? Where are you? Where are you? Like, what the fuck? Like, where have you been? And she was literally gone about 10 minutes and he was complaining about it the whole time. You've come to tell us that. Yeah. People have reacted. You're now saying we're single and bitter. So, but why did you tell us?
You've got a stupid husband.
But even the other day, like, this woman posted on TikTok being like, the hardest thing about being married is cooking. Like, I'm always cooking and my husband never cooks. So obviously people start commenting being like, why can't your husband cook? And then she made another video being like, everyone keeps asking me this, but actually he works really hard. I'm like, just stop sharing these details with us, period.
It's people trying to be, people trying to get everyone to be like, oh, you feel it too. Like, what's the...
Yeah, they're trying to be relatable.
Relatable, that's the word I try to... People trying to be relatable, because just shut up.
I saw that. I don't understand why people... So there'll be those videos as well where people are like, oh, this is how we split the bills. Like, this is how we... Like, this is very personal information. Like, I don't think it needs to be online, like how you and your other half choose to do things. Like, it's odd.
I just hate couple content. I hate
Same.
it.
I'm not into it at all.
It just made me think of, like, when you kind of see that, like, weaponized incompetence amongst men, and like you see a lot of women sharing it, not really realizing that looks crazy. I think it's because it's so baked into the nature of our relationships. This idea, like, if you're a straight woman, there are just some things that you just put up with that have become like things that are now embedded in pop culture. You know, it's just like, you know, the ditzy man who like doesn't know how to do this thing.
He can't buy you a tampon.
Do you know what I mean? Like, and I think that is just so, it feels so part and parcel. And I think people just accept it and they talk about it as if it's not strange because it's become a normal part of like how we do straight relationships. Like, the man will be silly, he can't do this, but he brings home the money, or he can fix the washing machine, and that's about it. But there's so much that we've just normalized.
Do you know what? Even in the grand scheme of it, I hate that we're having this conversation.
Yeah.
Like, as in, like, we are, like, it's so frustrating. Like, 'cause obviously it's necessary, but like, why? Like, do men gather and be telling us about, oh, you know, women? Like, as in, it's
they do, but it's
it's violent.
It's violent and they're gonna kill us.
That part. But in this kind of like, we need to support single women. Like, it's just a weird thing of the, like, it's so centered around men. Like,
because we live in a patriarchy.
Yeah, like, and it's so, like, even in our decentering, they're still there. Like, in the conversations, they're still there. And I know it's valid, and I know it's really, really important to speak to, like, single women, to be like, hey, there is value in you outside of this thing and this want. Because I think if women know that from a young age, they wouldn't be in abusive relationships. They wouldn't be in bad relationships just so they can say they have a man. And I think that's what it is. Once the trophy of you have a man is taken away, people will be in better relationships.
But I feel like in order to get there, we have to be, and unfortunately we're like slap bang in the middle of the shift. So we have to have these uncomfortable conversations, which unfortunately means that we kind of have to center them in order to decenter them. And the people that will benefit from it later, where they won't be, you know, where relationships won't be centered, partnership won't be centered, is because we've had these uncomfortable conversations now, which feels contradictory. It feels like if you want to decenter them, stop talking about them. But no, in order to get to the other side, we have to talk about the things that we want to unpack and the things that we want to unlearn. And unlearning is just as hard as learning. Do you know what I mean? So I just feel like later on, younger girls will feel the benefit of it, because it won't be such a stigma to be like, I'm not in a relationship. Or you won't even have to answer the question, because it won't be a thing.
It's the first thing people ask you.
It won't even be a thing.
And but alternative to that, like, if you don't want the conversation to be about men, it's like, how do we then recenter our friendships to be the most important relationship in our lives? Do you know what I mean? I just think, like you were saying, because we don't really have community, and it kind of feels like that sense of like responsibility to other people around you beyond your immediate family doesn't exist anymore. Everything is so focused on the private sphere, the home, my relationship with this one person. But it's like, how do we reorient that? How do we make our friendships more of priority? But I think that's really hard to do when people are so focused on the man, 2.5 children, white picket fence house. Do you know what I mean? Like, that is the dream, unfortunately. And I don't know how that changes without having these conversations.
And it's some women who are like naturally just not even inclined to be like that. Some women are like, I'm like, that's what I'm like. Some women are like, I don't even want to be a mum. Like, like all of these like, and I remember ages ago having a conversation with my friend when she was like, oh, she doesn't know she ever wants to be a mum. I was like, no, you'll change your mind. And the older I got, I was like, what? She doesn't. In fact, the people who shouldn't have children is people who don't want to. Like, as in, actually, they actually categorically should not be anywhere near them. Because they're telling you they don't want it. And there's someone who has always been like, no, I want that thing. And also who has sat with myself to be like, it's just a thing you want. It's just a thing you think you want because people have told you that you want a family. And I was like, no, actually, like, you do. This is a thing that I want. And then navigating that, we've also been like, it doesn't make me think any less of myself until it happens, but it is a thing that you want. And I think if you are a woman who is very like, self-reliant, blah, blah, blah. It's a difficult conversation to have with yourself as well, which hence is this embarrassing?
That's hard. I think for me as well, I've always really struggled to imagine myself like married or with children and stuff like that. I've never lived my life like that. Also, I think I was raised by a lot of like single women. I kind of like, my community has always been women, and like my mum, her best friend, my godmother, like they kind of raised me together. In some ways, I felt like I almost had like two mums because they support each other both as single mothers. So we did everything together, me and my like cousins and stuff. And so I've never really like had that inclination, which is why I think it's probably easier for me to talk about it. And I sometimes feel like a lot of the pressures I do have were like put on me. Like when I think inherently, like what do I really want outside of what I feel like I should have? It doesn't really align with that. So I've always struggled to be like, yeah, I want kids. Or even like, no, I don't want kids. I've just always been like, I don't know, like I just kind of just a bit like whatever. So I don't feel like I lose anything by having these conversations. Because, you know, a lot of people, when they've been interviewing me about this piece, have been like, you know, are you scared about what it means for like your future relationships? Like, do you think someone's still going to want to date you? I mean, someone's going to want to date me regardless.
If you date men, yeah.
But do you know what I mean? Like, it's like men are easy. Like that's not an issue. But I'm like, I'm honestly just like, well, all those kind of bigger questions, I don't know. And it's probably because I freelance as well. So there's a lack of like stability in my life. Like I can't imagine bringing a child into this world and chasing invoices. I just can't imagine doing that. You know, because it's just so insane.
Yeah, I think I know that I want it, but I know I want it in a particular way.
Yeah.
That's what I'm just like, I don't really like that. Like I've seen many examples of it, like, oh, not for me, not like that. And I think it's realizing how you want it and if you want it and things like that. But we've got some dilemmas we want to do with you.
Yeah.
Would you be happy to do some? Okay, first dilemma. Dear Audrey and Tolly, I'm a big fan of the podcast and always put you guys on when I'm at work. I would love to set your take on my dilemma below. Okay. I'm living with my partner and he has an addictive/hoarder personality.
Oh, no.
We live in a small one-bedroom apartment and his current addiction is buying shoes. Yeah. I have counted around 60 pairs of shoes which are stacked in the flat and some have migrated to my parents' house.
Oh my
He
God.
does not wear them all. They all just sit there and I see these stacks of shoes just sitting in my apartment. Some have been kept for over 2 years now. I keep asking him at least sell some, but he's reluctant to because he says he will wear them. He does not wear them. I only have 6 pairs of shoes.
Oh.
So is 60 pairs of shoes a lot?
60 or 6?
60.
That sounds like a lot of shoes.
That sounds like a lot of shoes. I'm trying to think about how many shoes
I think
I
I've
don't think I've
got
got 60 pairs of shoes, including trainers.
I think I've got
I have a lot of shoes, but I don't know if I have
got a lot of
60.
shoes.
I'm going to go home and count.
I definitely don't have 60
No, I
pairs of shoes.
redid my shoe thing the other day. And I only have 6 pairs of shoes or so that I rotate regularly with the odd shoes in the suitcases for occasions. So shoes are really not my vice and I don't get it. There is no space and the house always looks messy. He is also a hoarder of clothes and general things which don't get used. Every time I broach the subject of getting rid of stuff, he always says he will do it when he feels like it will, but it never does. Is there any advice?
Oh my God. First of all, I think like hoarding is like an actual disorder.
I think it's a trauma response, you know?
Yeah.
I genuinely believe it's a trauma response.
Yeah.
I think there is something about not having things when you grew up that when you can have things, it is like I remember when I first bought my house, I'd bought like a set of like plates or whatever, and months down the line, I decided I didn't want them anymore. Like I wanted a new vibe. And then I bought a new set, and then I went to go keep all of the old ones. And I remember someone was like, what are you going to do with them?
Exactly.
I was like, no, but they was like I said, either throw it away or give it away. There's like, you're just going to keep adding more things to your things that you have. And I think when you have that little bit of a hoarded thing, you're like, no, I don't want to get rid of it just in case. I'm going to need it one day, just in case I don't have. And I do think there is something to be like a deep dive into people who I think I've got the tendency in me.
Yeah.
I've got some clothes that I've had since college.
I always throw things away.
Same.
And also because I have little sisters, I give them everything. Like constantly. But also I have a fear of having too much stuff. Basically in my head, I know it sounds so crazy, but like I need to be able to just get up and leave. At any point, I need to be able to go. Not that I have somewhere to go particularly, but I hate the feeling of being weighed down by too many things.
Yeah.
I just need to be able to go. So I'm just not saying I have a lot of stuff, but I am regularly giving away things, selling things on Vinted, giving stuff to my little sister, charity, giving things to friends. Like I don't want it. I don't want it all.
I like things.
Yeah, I'm an extreme minimalist. Like I throw things away to the point where like I need it the next week and I'm like, damn, I threw it away. Like it's so bad. But in terms of like how to help her, oh God, I don't know. I feel like you have to be mindful because Nick kind of has that in him to be a bit of a hoarder, but I absolutely agree. I think it is like a bit of a trauma thing. Like if you've grown up in a household that hoards, then you're probably going to do the same.
Yeah.
Or if you're like extreme like me, I didn't grow up in a particularly hoardy household, but I knew that like they had the potential to be that way.
It wasn't a hoarder like the TV show.
Yeah. But just like a lot of stuff.
They weren't keeping stuff that why do we need to keep?
All now, my mum keeps very random things like old letters from the 90s. Like they're never going to, like companies probably in liquidation now.
It's gone.
Do you know what I mean? They're not going to write
you.
to you like you can get rid of that letter. Do you know what I mean? So I definitely saw a lot of that. But it's hard. I feel like you have to like speak to him about it though.
Yeah, 100%.
And find out what it's rooted in, because it probably is rooted in something like what you're saying, Tolly. Like it probably is rooted in, there's a deeper reason why. But I think you just have to like take things into your own hands as well. Like I've done that. Like
I will tidy up myself.
If you know there's things, and I don't know if it goes against everything we've been saying already, boy, don't be doing things for these men. But if it like, if you know it's something that he's probably not going to use and he's not going to miss, you probably can just get rid of it. Like I started doing that, and Nick never notices shit. You don't know it's nothing. I'm just like, yeah, I'll just be throwing things away. But I think first and foremost, find out, like speak to him, because also like, I say all of that to say that it is a bit disrespectful to just be throwing people's things away.
I think I'd be like, on a Saturday, I'll be like, okay, a day that I know we're both not doing anything. All right, babe, today is, we're sorting this out. I'm going to make it like it's a we thing that we're doing. And all I just be, do you mean you're not doing anything? You just do it. And then you can be like putting things away and figuring out things that you like. But I would make it, because I think, you keep telling him he's not doing it, and I know it's annoying, but eventually, like, okay, cool, let's do this thing together because it's irritating you. You're making your flat a mess. And then if worse comes, let's get a storage space. If you're going to keep doing this,
and he has to pay for
once you start figuring out that it's £250 a month, you're going to start
you will start throwing
things away and start giving things to charity. I've got so much things that I need to give away that I just have in my loft now. They should have never given me a loft, boy.
You're so lucky you've got a bloody loft.
That loft, they should have never given me a loft.
Just put things away and never see it. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
And like I won't throw things, like something will break and I'll be like, just throw it in the loft. Just throw it away. Yeah. What's wrong with me?
The attachment to the iron.
Yeah.
No, but sometimes there is that thing of I'm going to get it fixed. Like I've got so many wigs that I'm just like, oh, I'm going to get it repaired. I'm going to keep it. I'm just like, the other day I threw a bunch of wigs away. I'm like, you're never doing anything with that wig. Dash it and just keep the ones that you wear on rotation. Keep it moving. But yeah, it's hard.
Yeah, make it a group activity and tidy up together, I think.
Yeah, that's a good idea. All right, next dilemma. Hey, Tolly and Audrey.
Hello.
Your flowers are due, but as I'm tearful texting this out, I'm just going to get it.
Aww.
I've been in a relationship for 4 and a bit years now, and I love my man I'm with. However, over the past 3 years, he struggled with anxiety and depression due to an incident that occurred in his childhood that resurged. I feel I've done the most to help him in every aspect, whether that's mentally, physically, or financially, as it's been really hard for him to hold down his job since experiencing this. I feel I'm exhausted, but I'm so scared to even bring up the conversation. I really am at a loss and I don't know what to do. I just feel as if I've been doing all of this for too long, and as much as I'm loved and cared for so well, I'm finding myself looking at his location to see if he went to work, feeling like I'm mothering him 24/7, and I hate it. I work away at the moment, and even for him just to see me while I'm away, I had to pay for flights and trains, then pay for all the food and the things we did. But he always has money for weed. Girl.
Oh my God.
When is too much too much?
No.
I love this man with my whole being. I just don't feel like all my love languages are being met. This was so hard. I'm 25 for context. I know you're going to say I'm just a baby girl, but this is my first long-term relationship. He's got to know my family and all. I just need real front-footed change, and I don't know if I'm going to get that. Please help. From a Batgirl in love that's been holding on. Also, love you. You've been listening since I was 21. Thank you for leading us into womanhood.
Oh, that's lovely.
So can I ask a question? They've been together for 4 years, and 3 of those 4 years he's been going through this thing.
Yeah.
I can't say anything, innit? I can't say anything. 'Cause you know what they're gonna call me.
Yeah.
I feel really bad for him though. I think that's terrible. Like to have ill mental health is like you know, not
awful,
ideal, not great.
Yeah.
Been there, done that. I understand that it's very, very difficult. But I think 3 out of 4 years is absolutely insane. And you've tried and you've done what you can. And I'm not saying, you know, just give up on people, but sometimes you have to just give up on people. And also the more you coddle someone, for 3 years you've been like footing his lifestyle and all of this stuff. Like at some, like I think his improvement is almost disincentivized. He has no reason to be better or do better, improve himself, because he knows that at the end of the day, you're going to pay for everything. You're going to make sure things are okay. You're not do you know what I mean? Like I just think in some way you've weakened your bargaining position. Because even at this point you say to him, I really need you to improve. It's like he spent 3 out of the 4 years of a relationship just not really having to be considerate for the fact that you're doing all this stuff for him. Like it's just like time to end it.
I think even the depression and insecurity and everything that is going through are absolutely valid, right? But why does that mean you have to pay for everything?
Exactly.
Does he have family?
What's the link? As in like, but you're still spending money
on
weed and stuff. So it's not like you're down and out and you can't. You're still. And I get it, like you said, but no one's saying to you like leave someone when they're like out bad, because people need people and it's important and all things like that. But also like, what are you doing for your own mental health? Are you looking after yourself? I don't know, it just feels like a young age to be carrying all of this. And especially for the majority of the relationship.
Yeah.
If it was like the last year we've been like this, or if there was, is he looking for help? Is he trying to find places to make himself feel better? Is he talking to anybody? Like, do you feel like he's actively trying to get out of where he is? And I know like it's easier said than done. When you are depressed, you're not thinking, I need to get out of this or whatever. But I do think he needs a wake-up call.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you've had them, because you said you're scared to have those conversations. You need to be unscared. You need to have those conversations and have it really like, what are we doing here? Obviously, I love you. I want to help you. But we need to have this conversation. What's going on? How can we fix this?
Yeah, I totally agree. I feel like I, again, completely sympathise with the mental health thing, but it shouldn't be to the detriment of your mental health. That makes no sense to me. Like, why are we both in a situation where we're both depressed? That actually doesn't benefit anybody, because God forbid you spiral and you get so bad, then you can't even help him anyway. Yeah. So I think that you need to like kind of put yourself first, unfortunately. And it feels tough because he's going through a hard time. But yeah, I totally agree with you girls. Like, I just think this is not benefiting anybody. And if anything, he's kind of dragging you down with him. And it's not healthy. I think he needs to actually focus on himself. And I feel like, like you've been a crutch, and understandably so. Like if someone's constantly picking me up when I'm down, I don't know that I'm going to necessarily not even pull himself up, because I know it's definitely more, it's not that straightforward, but you just shouldn't be his crutch anyway. Yeah, like especially not financially. I just feel like that's too big of a burden. Like, and you can be there for people from a distance. I feel like, you know, even if you ended the relationship and you said, listen, I don't think you're in the right headspace to do relationship, I can still be there for you. We can still have, you know, we can still be cool. I can still be your friend. But right now, you don't have the tools to give me what I need, and I can't keep on pouring into you to the detriment of myself.
And where's everyone else in his life? This is the problem with men as well. They get into a relationship and then you are the center of everything. For everything. Whether it's like this fear of masculinity, being honest, talking about yourself, but it's like there's not a single other person in this entire world that could also support him as much as you have, you know, or inside of you.
Or support you, support him.
Right. Like, you know. This ain't it, y'all.
This ain't it at all.
Yeah. All right, next dilemma. Dear Tolly and Audrey, hope you're both well. Thank you for being such a light in an ever-gloomy world. You never fail to brighten up my Wednesdays and your laughs and chats. Hope you know how important you are to so many people out here who may not always express it. I'd like to be the voice on their behalf. Love you both. Now my dilemma. I'm in an estranged relationship with my mum. Long story short, growing up, she wasn't the nicest person. A bit toxic, critical, emotionally immature. All of this coupled with the fact that she cheated on my dad, whom I'm very close to multiple times, and was a turbulent presence in our lives. She was nothing but narcissistic and unhappy towards us. I now willingly don't have a relationship with my mum and only see her on social/community occasions, and I'm happy this way. Last year, she disclosed that she had a certain amount of money saved for a gift for me for when I get married. When I asked about it further, she made it sound like I was just using her for money. She began to say things like, so you only want me for my finances? Well, yeah, bitch, because why did you bring it up? Exactly. Not to be a part of the wedding, and asking me when she can meet my soon-to-be fiancé and his family. I'm very protective of them and would love to keep them as far away as possible. I hate that she's using this as an intro into my life. I didn't ask her to save this money. On one hand, I feel like she owes me, whether that's financial or material. She's never present in my life growing up. She also prioritized herself and her career. However, I really don't want her to use this as leverage to be present on my wedding day, which I really wouldn't like. So this is long, but I'd really appreciate your help, as I'm the only child and unable to speak to anybody else about this. Love you guys. Don't take her money.
I'm not convinced there's any money.
You have to stand 10 toes down.
No matter how much you need that money, you just have to act like,
I'm not convinced the money is even there. That's what that's at least what I would tell myself.
Like,
I don't think it's real.
There's no money. Yeah.
Because on what planet do you think that you're going to dangle some money over my head after you've been a fucking dysfunctional mom?
Yeah.
Like, I would rather, like, you've already done well cutting ties from her. You only see her on socials, like, and you said you're happy with that. Don't let her dangle this carrot in front of you, which may or may not even be real, to worm her way back into your life. This is not even the way a mum's supposed to act. What do you mean? Not. Like, love me or you don't get this money? Like,
invite me to the wedding. Let me meet them. Like, the fact that your fiance hasn't met her, you don't want that link, whatever. And I know you might need the money for the wedding. A bit of money will be great for the wedding, but honey, don't take that money.
Not all money.
Yeah. Just take that. Not
Absolutely
all money is good money. Like even if it's from your mum, it's not good. It's not worth it.
Also, like, just I think the mum thinks like that's a replacement for like an apology.
Yes.
It's like she's still so filled with pride. It's like this is the way I'm gonna get back into your life, not an admittance of how badly I treated you. Like, don't do that.
And
like,
no matter what, if you do like let her in, she's always gonna see it as you're using me for money.
Yeah.
And you know what? Rightly so.
Yeah.
Because if she didn't have this money to offer, you wouldn't bring her into this space. So just don't do it. Yeah. And if she really wants you to give you the money, no matter what, she should give you the money.
Yeah.
Right.
But the fact that she isn't, there's no money.
Yeah.
There's no money.
There's
Just
no
forget
money.
it.
Yeah. And even if there is, just give it to me then. Like, why do you need? If you're like, I've always saved this for you here, I know we're not cool, just send me the money. Don't be like, I'm only going to give it to you once I meet your fiance. I'm only going to give it to you once you involve me in the wedding.
Stipulations.
Yeah.
Why is this a contract?
Yeah. You just have to close your eyes and not take that money, I can't lie.
And it's so crazy because it probably feeds into like what we've been talking about today. Like she didn't want us to have shit to do with you until you're getting married. Now all of a sudden she wants to be a president.
And why didn't you give it
in
money
your life
when I just got 18?
Exactly.
Why does it have to be getting married for me to be worthy of this money?
Why is this the milestone that's making you want to step up? Like that's just very sad in itself. Okay, next and last. Oh God. Okay. Hi, Tolly and Audrey. I can't lie, I'm terrified as I'm writing this. If my mum knew, she'd be like, how can you send people your problems like this? My mum would say the same thing. Sorry, mum, I'm still going to do it. Hope this isn't too long. But first, your flowers. I'm one of the younger viewers, just 16, but bro, listening to you guys makes me feel so seen. I've been listening since the end of last year, and you guys are the podcast I'm always looking for when I open Spotify and other places. It's so nice to see such beautiful, successful black women shine. It's a constant reminder that I can do the same, even when everyone tells me I can't.
Why would they tell you you can't?
You guys give such good advice and you are so funny and real. You deserve all the blessings coming at you.
Amen.
Thank you.
Amen.
So my dilemma, where to even start? For the past few years, probably since I was like 10, I've been wanting to... That wasn't even that long ago.
An actual baby.
Just 6 years ago, she was 10.
Exactly.
I'm giving them a hug.
I've been wanting to be a journalist. It's something that I know I have the skills for and I would probably do pretty well.
You will.
All my family members always hype me up, tell me I'm going to do so many great things, represent and all of that. Okay, no pressure like. But the more I talk to people who've done journalism in uni or used to be in the field, the more I feel unsure. Even when I hear Tolly or other people's dilemmas when they talk about certain jobs, I'm like, oh no. I know it's super competitive, but also a field that's slowly declining. As a black young woman, I know there's no easy way in. I already struggle with burnout at this young age, and I can't imagine what I'll do if it gets worse with trying to reach this goal of being a journalist. I know I need to start applying for unis next year. Sorry. So sweet. But your girl don't know what she's doing anymore. I've considered other options like getting a degree that leans more towards marketing, comms, PR, etc. I know I'd be good at jobs like that as well. I genuinely have an interest in them. I did a bit of work experience earlier this year in marketing and I loved it. It was so insightful and I learned so many people who also wanted to be in the journalism field but are happier where they work now. I don't know if this was God screaming, do this instead, but I know I would enjoy exploring those options at uni and hopefully later on in life as well. Maybe I'm overstressing, but I want to be sure before I start applying. I want to set myself up for success and not have a quarter-life crisis in 10 years. So my dilemma is, I don't know if I should pursue journalism or look at other options that still allow my skills to shine. I know that if I worked in some kind of comms, I would probably be happy, but I don't want to feel like I'm taking the safe or easy choice. But I can't lie, being a corporate girly sounds fun. Journalism is something I've been aiming for through all of high school this year. So far, and I know everyone will be disappointed if I don't take that route. I don't want to mess up an opportunity for myself. I want to be proud of myself in the long run. Hope you guys see this and my words aren't all over the place. People keep telling me when I explain things, my points get very mixed up, laugh out loud. Love, a very confused girl.
Oh, bless.
You're not all over the place. That was very concise.
Very, very succinct.
16.
Thank you.
And you are just like me. Oh my God. I was this 16-year-old that was just like, I need to figure out what I need to do in my life now. Otherwise I've fucked it. And I'm never going to get out of the hood. And I'm not going to be a journalist and blah, 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 blah. Like this is adorable. This is like literally me being like, I need to be a journalist, and didn't grow up knowing anybody in the field. And a lot of the time you're told that, oh, it's like, someone knew someone who newspaper, blah, 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 blah. I didn't know anybody anywhere. And nor did anyone in my family. So it was this kind of like, I have to make it, whatever. Firstly, relax. Relax. I love that you're thinking about your future and what's important to you, and that's absolutely fair. but like there's so much time. There is so much time. Like I knew I went to be a journalist. I didn't do a journalism degree. I did media and communications. And again, like it was just a wide scope of, you know what, we'll see what happens. Many people in journalism did not do a journalism degree. Did you do a journalism degree?
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
I did, and I'm the one that failed at it.
Like I was just media and comms, whatever. Many people did English degrees to be journalists. Like in everywhere I've worked in, not many people are like, straight out I just did journalism. Some people just did a wide scope of things, just like you as well. I did an internship in a PR marketing place, and I was like, oh, this is all right. Actually, no, I didn't. That's a lie. I didn't think it was all right. I did it. And back then, PRs used to have to phone people. And I remember doing this internship, they told me to phone a journalist. I've called this journalist. I think it was like Boys to Men were in town.
Oh,
and I wanted them to talk about it on their thingy. And she was like, I don't have time for this. And she like hung up. And in that moment, rather than being like this bitch, I thought, I want to be her. I want to be the person that hangs up the phone and being this shit, like, and hang up. I was like, that's who I'm trying to be. I'm not trying to be the person begging. I want to be the person who people are asking, like, can you please do this for us, sort of thing. So that kind of made me realize that I didn't want to be in PR, but PR and marketing is not that anymore. Like you are not phoning people, like, as in, and I know many people. In fact, when I quit at BuzzFeed, I went into marketing. That was the first thing I went into, did marketing. Because you can still right there, there was a lot more money in marketing. I'm telling you that for nothing. And yeah, journalism as we know it is declining. But I do think by the time you are finished with your degrees or whatever, there will be a whole new scope and it will look differently and you'll be able to play in that world. It's just as we know it is declining, but that doesn't mean it's the end of it. People still need news. People still need information. It's still going to be another avenue where it's done. But I think if you're thinking about it in the old way, once you do your degree, once you learn more, you realise like, there's still space for this, just not as we know it as it is. But you're a working journalist right now. I'm not a working journalist, so.
I mean, well, this is the thing. I do get a lot of people messaging being like, I want to get into journalism, I want to be a freelance journalist. And like, there is always a need for journalism. There's always a need for truth, especially when there's so much misinformation out there.
Exactly.
AI, all of this stuff is really scary. And now more than ever, we actually do need like verified resources. There's too much chaos out there. So there's always going to be a demand for it, depending on the type of journalism that you want to do. It's always going to be an option. And also, just because you do journalism, it doesn't close you off to anything else. Like there's so many people who maybe start off in journalism, now they're in PR or they're in comms, or like the need for journalists.
Left it all together. They're doing copyright in a corporate business.
Do you know what I
somewhere.
mean?
Yeah.
But it was still a transferable skill. So I kind of think I agree in the sense that you have a lot of time to figure this stuff out. There's no need to make that decision right now. If you do journalism, it doesn't work out, there are so many other places you can go. If you don't do journalism, you can always go back to it. People are always finding themselves in journalism.
Or you can do something whilst you freelance as a journalist. You can do something completely different and still write for magazines and stuff or whatever. There is a world where you can do whatever it is you want to do. I'm worried about you feeling burnt out at 16.
Yeah. If it's because of career, then
you are going to be fine. And people encouraging you, don't see that as pressure. Just see it as they're trying to speak life into you.
Yes.
Like they're not doing it as a like, you're going to let us down if you don't do this. And they're just speaking life into you because that's so important to speak life into little black girls.
Yes.
And I think that's what they're doing. So you're not going to disappoint anybody. If you wake up today and you decide that, you know what, I want to work in banking.
Right.
Like people they're pushing you because you said that's what you want to do. That's what they're encouraging you to do it, sort of thing. So if you wake up today and be like, actually, fuck this, I'm going to do tech.
They're still going to love you and support you.
Yeah, exactly.
So it is absolutely fine. Don't put pressure into it. I applied, so the degree that I eventually did, that was the only degree that I applied for that wasn't a journalism course. Everything else was journalism. And then at the end of it, I was like, actually, no, let me not limit it. Let me do something broader and see what happens.
Yeah, exactly.
But
and look at you now.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like journalism is one of those things where it's more like about your experience, and it's one of those things you don't have to wait for gatekeepers to let you in. You can actually be a journalist if you're writing stuff and putting it out. Do you know what I mean? And like for me, I went down the very traditional route. I mean, the college that I did it at was bogus, but I still got my qualification. And it didn't necessarily work out for me. Like when I was trying to get a job in it full time, it was really hard, which is why I think what you said was really important actually, Tolly. Just keep an eye on like the industry, because when I finally qualified, everything was moving into digital, and I qualified as like a very traditional print journalist. Like I literally had my things in a clippings, like physically cut out in a folder, and everyone was like, girl, like we're online now.
Yeah,
they're like, what is that plastic folder? What are you doing? So I just wish that I was more like on the pulse in terms of how the industry was moving. So whilst you're like still in school and stuff like that, keep an eye on it. Keep an eye on how people are actually, consuming news, how it's actually being like put out there, and then just find your niche. I just feel like if you're really passionate about a particular thing that you want to talk about, start talking about it. Like I see so many people doing videos, and like even though there's so much people that chat shit on TikTok and stuff, like I can tell the people that do kind of take it seriously.
Yeah.
Like you can still what is it, the wheat from the chaff?
Yep.
That's it.
You can still see the wheat from the chaff. Like you can see the people that genuinely are really passionate about like journalism and like presenting news versus the people that are just talking for the sake of it and they've got their little mic kind of thing. So I feel like you can still do it. Like you can put your work out there, you know, you can get feelers for it. And yeah, I don't think you need to stop dreaming. I feel like it is definitely something that you can do alongside other things. So yeah, everything the girl
Did you always want to be a journalist?
No, actually, when I did social policy and quantitative research methods at Bristol, and then I started working at eBay because I thought I was going to be a tech girl, because I interned at Google in my between second and third years. So I was like, I'm going to be a tech girl, And I didn't enjoy it. So basically, I worked for maybe 1 year post graduation, and then I quit, and I've been like freelance ever since. But I started writing at uni because when I was at uni, that's when Liv started Galdem.
Yes.
So that's literally how I got into writing. Period. Because I was like, oh, there's this space, this platform where I can talk about my experiences, and it's run by other women of color, and they're interested in my unique story. If it wasn't for Liv, if it wasn't for Galdem, I would not have ever started writing.
We had a really great time because the girls were doing. There was Galdem, there was Black Ballad, there was like spaces where like girls were like opening up platforms where you could write, and just like there wasn't this like massive gatekeeper aspect of it. And also, babe, there is a world where you actually end up not even wanting to do this anymore. You could 2 years time, you could be like, oh,
This ain't it.
This ain't it. Like, please give yourself this freedom to change your mind, to say you don't want to do it anymore. Again, you are 16. Like, I think you are. I was lucky enough, I always say lucky, to be someone who knew exactly what I wanted to be from a young age. I was just like, I'm just going to pursue that. And some people, that's their lives. And some people, they're like, they want to be this. Actually, next year, they want to be this. They want to be this. And some people never actually figure it out. They just, because it becomes a thing that's not their life's goal. Their career, what they do is not, it doesn't matter because it's not where they get fulfillment or happiness or whatever. But take time, baby girl, please. If you listen to anything I say, take time.
Wow.
Have you done college yet at 16?
I don't think so.
You haven't finished college
No.
yet? Yeah.
16 to 18.
Take time. You've got all the time in the world.
College will probably change you quite a lot.
And even if you were 26, I would still be like, it's all right.
100%.
Yeah.
You can change your mind at any point.
Even if you're 45, you're like, actually, they wanted you. Many people be like, I've done this career for years. I'm over it. Something else. Like, but yeah, like journalism as it is right now, it's a wonky time.
Yeah, it's really stressful.
Yeah,
it is really, really stressful. And I was obviously freelance, and even this year, just pitching has been insane. Like it's been incredibly difficult to land stuff, and I think it won't be like this forever. But yeah, right now is a tense time. So just chill. Don't feel so set on this. You know, it's going to look very different in 10 years' time.
Can you tell the people then like how to pitch? Because there'll be people listening that'll be like, okay, if I got this, I want to pitch. What's the process?
Yeah. So, okay, for example, with this Vogue article, I actually saw someone who wrote for Vogue, and I messaged them being like, hey, who's the person that you like pitched to at Vogue? She sent over her details. Luckily, it was someone that I had written for before Daisy, when Daisy was at Vice. So I used to do a lot of stories for Vice. So she already knew that I could write and whatever. So I was able to like pitch and get this piece landed. But if I'm trying to pitch to someone new, a lot of the time I'm gonna look on somewhere like Twitter. I mean, I don't know if they're still on there like that, but they used to do. Our editors would do call-outs, being like, hey, we're looking for stories on X, Y, Z. They'll have their email there. There are also on Substack so many newsletters that are like pitch roundups where they basically put together a whole email of every single person who's been asking for stories, so you can find their details there. You can pitch them. When you send your pitch, you want to keep it like quite short. If you're new to this person, you could say, hey, introduce yourself. I'm this is things I write about. Here's a link to my portfolio. Here's a link to some pieces that I've written, my most recent one and the one that's most relevant to this piece, so I have the expertise on it. Then you want to give a short summation of the idea that you want to explore, maybe the people you want to interview, and why this story is timely and relevant right now, and why it sits well in this publication based on the other things that they've written. And then you kind of like send it off, and sometimes they say you should wait a few days to hear back before you pitch the story to other places, but I kind of just feel like you just kind of see, the game is the game. You send your stuff out there, see who bites first, and then, write for them in that sense as well. But yeah, keep it short, keep it brief, make sure all of the essential information is there, and just like hunt out for the relevant editors.
Yeah, the Substack is a great, there's a girl called Cyan who,
As
soon as I went freelance, I started following her, and she just literally was like every week or every couple of weeks she sends you, here's who you're looking for pieces, here is their emails, here's what they're looking for, and then it's easy for you to pitch as well. And when I used to pitch, I would pitch like 10 titles. To be like, and like, here are these things, and sometimes it's like, don't want any of it. Sometimes actually, let's go with that one. Or you see what's happening in the news, and like, cool, that's interesting. Let me pitch it to this person. Or your spin on a story is always really interesting to do.
I remember one time I was applying for journalism jobs. I was proper going through it. I was so stressed out. This was back in the day. And so I applied for this job, and I was like, I'm going to go there and hand it in. And then
security will kick you out now.
I was like, I'm going to go, because you had to like do a task. And I was like, I'm going to print it and I'm going to go there, yeah? And then the woman gave me such a dirty look when I went there. I was like, oh my God, like, why should she give me such a dirty look? So I went back and I looked at the application. It says, do not come here in person. Small print on the thing. I was like, so read the small print.
I love the initiative though, but also,
she was just like, obviously I didn't get the job, obviously, because you can't even follow simple instructions, but it proper said it like, do not come here.
Because like when you were incoming.
You were like show off the things. And I was
use initiative.
That was dumb.
Initiative is not stopping people
not at
down.
all. Oh my God,
like June said last time, she's like, stop asking people for lunch. People don't have the time.
No.
Nobody has the time to go to lunch with you.
Yeah, just keep it brief.
Email them.
The
There were some people who have commissioned me that I have never met in my life.
Yeah.
Just via emails, and then you take their thing and you go.
Yeah. Most people.
That's it. Yeah,
just get
I've
straight to the
not met
point.
any of these people before. If I see them, I'm like, oh my God, I don't even know what they look like.
Yeah.
Sometimes I see them at dinner, they're like, yeah, I'm da da da. I'm like, oh my God, hi.
If you're going to DM someone, don't be like, hi, and wait for them to reply. Just put the whole thing in.
Say what you want here.
It's just so
Yeah.
annoying
Say
when
what
people
you
do
want
that. Like,
here.
hey, I'm just like, what? Like, are you about to tell me something mad? And then they ask for the favour. I'm like, oh my God, you could have said that earlier.
Yeah.
But
And also follow people's careers.
Yeah.
I think that's what I found out when I was a journalist, especially with PRs, where you're like, you go from Ed's assistant to, and then like things, and then you see the people who have followed my career from when I was Ed's assistant. In fact, it's just from an intern to an editor. So you just. You know, and everyone knows each other, and there's loads of like groups for like black journalists and black journals where you can follow and join, and they all like encourage each other and tell each other things that are happening in the world. But like, you're 16, take time. I love that you are interested in your life and your career. I love that. But it doesn't need to be all consuming. It doesn't need to be a negative. You can know what you want to do, but not let it burn out. Go.
It doesn't have to be so rigid.
Yeah,
it doesn't have to be
absolutely.
so rigid.
Burn out at 16, you've got your whole lifetime to
Exactly.
Right.
To burn out.
There's many a time
Consume your energy.
to feel burnt out. Don't let it be at
This is not
16.
it.
Yeah. Especially with a thing that hasn't happened yet.
No, at
Exactly.
16,
Stop
I was
borrowing
not
like grief from
thinking.
the future. Just like
Yeah.
exist in this
Yeah,
moment.
because it'll come.
Yeah.
It will come.
God.
Wait it out, but just not at 16.
At 16, I was not thinking about my career this intensely.
I was.
I think I was, but I've never really ever known what I wanted to do. Like to this day, like, you know, if an interesting opportunity comes up, I'll explore it, because I'm not really wedded to the idea of doing like a thing, which is why I think being freelance was so necessary for me, because I've been able to, yes, do lots of stuff in journalism, but do like broadcasting and, you know, podcasting and, you know, content creation. And I've kind of just had a career that is like, been all over the place, but I guess the through line has always been like writing, telling stories, like journalism, news and media. So it can look very, very different to how you imagine it.
Yeah. I was already working 2 years in at 16.
Yeah, I worked in the bakery.
Yeah,
but
I was already working at Pizza Hut for 2
career, I
years.
was like,
Or might have left and going to H&M, but I was already working at 16 for sure.
Same.
So I was always concerned to be like, I don't want to be here forever.
Yeah.
So I need to find a future goal for sure. Right, Chante, where can they find you? What's going on? What are the next pieces?
Oh my
You
God.
obviously have Strangers in the City that you do. Tell us about that.
So I run an event series in London called Strangers in the City. It is an event series where you have to come solo. You can't bring your friend, you can't bring your boyfriend, you can't bring your cousin. Everyone comes alone, and we do activities all over London. We've done like trampolining, aerial, baking. We've done ring making, candle making. Any sort of random activity you can think of, improv, we do it, and we encourage people to come solo, and we design the space so it's centered around friendship and connection. So I know it's a big ask to tell people to come somewhere by themselves, but just know from the moment you walk in, we have activities that you get on with.
And also
So-
everybody else there
yeah,
is solo as
exactly.
well.
You're not
Exactly.
alone.
Yeah.
So we kind of want to reduce the barriers for friendship by making sure everyone's in the same place. And I've been running it with my best friend Zainab for just over a year now, and it's just been incredible. We've done like 31 events. Like we've had like over 1,000 attendees. Like it's just taken off like a life of its own. So please, everyone, come along to Strange in the City. Follow us on Instagram and TikTok, Strange in the City events. For me, I'm writing a book at the moment, which is really exciting. And it's so funny because the piece that I wrote was kind of me procrastinating from the book. It was me researching and then being like, oh, it's really interesting. And it is called Picky, and it will be out next year. And it is kind of about everything in the article, about dating, choice, relationships, friendships, all of the stuff that comes around like being a woman and like the pressure to be partnered. You know, why do we feel like that? So there's that. And then, writing more pieces for Vogue. Like, I don't know, by the time this comes out, like, who knows what will happen.
What's next?
I'm manifesting a column. Like,
yes.
But I'm still writing pieces for Vogue, still pitching, still putting stuff out there. So,
how's book writing going?
It's really hard. It's really hard. I'm so used to kind of in journalism writing my, 1,000, 1,200 word piece and like kind of submitting an idea like that. But to really extend it, I think has been like such a challenge for me. So I've had to think about writing my book as a series of articles basically in order to get it done. But it's been like, I'm learning so much though. I'm I feel like I'm opening myself up to a lot more information and viewpoints, and it's like really helping me, but also, the writing itself is like really hard. So I'm learning to not be so obsessed with perfection. Like just get the words on the page and then think about the rest later. It's like where I'm at with it.
Your first draft is not your final draft, babes.
Listen, it can't be because it's not looking good, bruv. It's not
but thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Where can they find you outside of Chante Joseph? Do you want to be found?
Chante J. I mean, find me if you're going to be nice. Chante J across all social media platforms, TikTok, Instagram. I mean, I don't really use X that much. I'm only there to pre the memes, but I'm there too. So find me on all those places.
I'm so sad Twitter's been ruined.
I know.
I'm not on it anymore either. I didn't have login anymore for it, but I'm just like, all the fun tweets.
No.
Like, what a time.
It's not fun at all.
Really? Is it horrible now?
I don't even tweet anymore at all, ever.
It's just
every
ads,
now and then
bots.
I just go on there. It's just ads and bots. Exactly. Literally, it's just a hot mess over there.
No one's funny anymore on it.
No, definitely not.
No, I think more
it's just
people
on
are on,
flames
like,
all the
TikTok
time. Yeah, TikTok. And even that can be a bit sometimes.
Well, that's it from us, honeys. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. Hope you had a good time. Find a way to figure out if you like men or not. That's your own problem. Everybody has their cross to bear. So figure out what yours is. I've been your girl, Tolly T.
Just call me Audrey.
I'm Chante Joseph.
Bye.
Bye.